All right, so after 19 years, the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise is back with a new movie. So I figured it'd be a perfect time to rank all 4 movies in the franchise. So the original movie in this franchise was just a part of that massive wave of slashers in the late 90s that came after the success of Scream. And a lot of people especially look at that original movie as a bit of a Scream ripoff. But to me personally, it's really not. I mean, yeah, there is a big chance that this franchise might have never even been made if it wasn't for the success of Scream, even though the script for the original movie in this franchise was actually written before Scream. But after Scream's success, the studios were like, all right, yeah, we can take a risk on this script. There's something in here that's similar to Scream, and we feel like it will pop. So yeah, that relationship with Scream will always be there. Plus, the 2 franchises definitely have kind of that popcorn, late 90s fun slasher kind of a feel to it, trying to make, horror movies kind of mainstream and cool again. Definitely share some similarities with that. But I really feel like the original I Know What You Did Last Summer just does not get enough credit for really helping to catapult like the whole wave of horror movies and slasher movies that we started to see after Scream in the late 90s and the early 2000s especially. Also, let me know down in the comments down below how you rank this franchise. Are you a fan of this franchise? Are you kind of in the middle? Are you not a fan? Let me know. Also, if you do end up enjoying this video, leave a like on it as well. It really does help this video out a lot. And just keep in mind as I go through this video and I talk about the newest movie in the franchise, which just recently came out, that part will be spoiler free. But as far as the old movies in this franchise goes, yeah, I will talk about some spoilers with those movies. Those movies I feel like are plenty old to talk spoilers. And I will say, guys, man, it is kind of shocking to me just thinking about it, how close the movies in the number 4 and the number 3 spot are for me. I mean, just thinking about this list over the past several days, and I thought about it pretty hard. I've seen all of these movies recently, and some of them multiple times. And again, the movies in 3 and 4 are very, very close for me. Now, the gap between 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 is massive, but still, yeah, 3 and 4, very, very close. So, all right, so a 28-year time span in between the first movie in this franchise and the newest movie that just came out. So how the hell do I rank the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise? Well, coming in the 4th spot and in last place is going to be the newest movie in the franchise called I Know What You Did Last Summer. All right, now before you rush to the comments section, just hear me out a little bit. Now, after going back and rewatching all of the movies in this franchise, within the past week or 2, I just think to myself, which movie between this newest one and I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, the straight-to-video movie from 2006, which one would I rather watch right now? And honestly, I'd rather watch the movie from 2006, and obviously I'll explain why. And I'm going to try my best not to rant and rave about this movie because there is so much to say. And if you want to see a little bit more of like a ranty style movie review type thing, just like a full breakdown of this movie, both spoiler free and spoiler, I have both of those videos on my channel if you want to check those out. But when it comes to the newest movie in this franchise, this movie was made for $18 million. Very similar budget to the original movie, but they took that budget and they actually thought they were making a great slasher movie. But instead, they just shit the bed at every chance they got. Where I feel like the 2006 movie, it feels like with that movie, they're like, hey, okay, we know this is going to be a low budget movie, but we're going to make a low budget, like dark and dreary slasher movie that's going to be set in the mountains. Whereas this new movie had a ton of resources, these great legacy characters that a lot of us love, and we're just flat out clueless, forcing these messages down our throat at every chance that they could possibly get, and really just taking all-time great slasher characters and making them just dumb as hell. Now, first of all, that 2006 movie is not a good movie by any means. I mean, it does a lot of things very bad in a lot of different ways. But just to piggyback off of what I just said, the 2006 movie, doesn't do that stuff. It doesn't seem like they're trying to push any weird agendas. You don't really feel like when you're watching that 2006 movie, like the director is trying to make this kind of like personal statement, for themselves that's going to come across on screen and make them feel really good about themselves. Oh yeah, and by the way, in that 2006 movie as well, I mean, it does actually feel like the characters have some real regret and they're actually going through something after like the big tragedy that happens in the beginning of the movie. In this movie, though, we get moments where somebody's loved one was just brutally massacred by a fisherman, and then they give us lines like, "Oh my God, that was like so terrible, but am I at least hot?" And stuff like that happens throughout this new movie left and right. It's honestly nauseating at times. Also, that 2006 movie kind of has its niche in the franchise. Yes, the 2006 movie is bad, but it's watchably bad. I mean, we're horror fans. You know what I'm talking about. This genre is littered with great low-budget movies that are so bad that at times you can laugh your ass off. And now I'm not saying that the 2006 movie is one of those all-time great, so bad that it's good type horror movies. No, I'm not saying that at all. But in comparison to the newest movie in this franchise, that 2006 movie, it just has that niche in this franchise, I feel like. It's got that low-budget kind of stupidity, that a lot of us love in the horror genre. That can be a lot of fun. Whereas this newest movie in the franchise, though, I just feel like, honestly, it's just brain dead. There are virtually no good ideas in this entire movie. It is actually shocking how bad this story is. Also, when I watched that 2006 movie, because of the time when it was made, it's got a lot of nostalgia for me just because of my age. It's not like this newest movie where it's just trying to like force feed you nostalgia along the way with these shiny things like these legacy characters and pictures of old characters that a lot of us love littered throughout the movie, where you're just like blatantly trying to force feed us nostalgia. That 2006 movie has the benefit of, for me personally, it just happened to come out during an era of movies and horror that I personally really do enjoy. I just feel like with this newest movie, along the way, they were just going for so much of the low-hanging fruit to try to somehow make this movie good. Also, by the way, a bit of a tangent, but the title, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the same title as the original movie, but it's not going to be a remake. It's going to be this reboot, requel, whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's technically a sequel where the first two movies are canon. We got to stop that. The title to this movie is just flat out dumb as hell. And that kind of epitomizes this entire movie, the story, the character arcs, the choices throughout this movie. It's basically a remake throughout the entire thing. Some of the things are kind of almost a shot for shot, but yet it's not a remake. It's a sequel because, so many people are fans of Freddie Prinze Jr. and Julie James, so we're just going to randomly throw them in the movie to try to appeal to the older fans of this franchise who are fans of the original first two movies. I feel like with this newest movie, they make one of the biggest mistakes you can possibly make in movie making, which is trying to appeal to everyone. On one hand, they make this like TikTok type slasher movie. And then on the other hand, they're also trying to tiptoe this line of, okay, we're going to try really, really hard also to make fans of the original movie, maybe millennials or whatever have you, also really enjoy this movie. They're tiptoeing both of those and they end up not executing either of them well at all. And just to kind of bounce off of what I said just a second ago, these are honestly some of the dumbest characters that I have ever witnessed in a theatrically released movie. This isn't a spoiler review. I'm not going to spoil stuff about this newest movie. A part of me does wish I was going to do that because then I could say some of the lines we get, especially at the end or kind of towards the end of this movie. I won't say it, but it is some of the dumbest dialogue you could possibly imagine. Even the actress that played Ava said that she was literally told to recreate Julie James in this movie, which, first of all, dumb idea. You're supposed to make this poor girl fill the shoes of Julie James, an all-time great slasher hero and all of that. First of all, like I said, that is a dumb idea, but that is also a huge mistake. Also, with that said, I feel like with Ava's character, okay, she's supposed to be like Julie James. Okay, so why aren't you putting any effort into making us care or letting us get to know this character at all, other than a tiny little 2-second moment where she talks about her mom at the beginning of this movie, while we painfully have to watch her get dressed for a party? Yeah, great hook for the movie, guys. Now, keep in mind, as I say this is coming from somebody who really, really enjoys the sound design and the score from the first 2 movies in this franchise, which I feel like don't get enough credit for being a hell of a lot of fun and sounding great for a slasher movie. With this newest movie, though, I absolutely hate the sound design in this movie. It feels like I'm watching an anime or something. I feel like every little subtle thing that happens in this movie is way too loud, way too punchy. It's kind of like I'm watching a cartoon, like one of those modern cartoons that's made for like an ADHD generation. So now with that said, and after me kind of shitting on this movie quite a bit, do we at least get some good kills or a great or just fun chase sequence? No, we don't. Which is one of those things that makes me think, what was even the point in making this movie? I mean, it doesn't really do anything to really push this franchise forward in a big way. It's basically a remake of the original, but it does every single thing that the original does well, way worse, even the second movie as well. And just the audacity to actually add a true crime podcaster into this movie. It makes me think, have you just not watched any movies at all in the past 10 years? Did you actually think that was going to be like cool and edgy and unique or something? Just so stupid. Now, when it comes to the reveal in this movie, I don't have any problems with trying to take a swing, trying to be bold. But the creative choice that they win at the end of this movie, when it comes to the motivation behind the reveal and how they actually executed the reveal in this movie, I mean, honestly, what can I say? Stupid. It felt forced, cliche, anticlimactic. Now, Ben Willis's motivation in that original movie wasn't like mind-blowing or anything like that, but it was, man, this mean, gristled, older fisherman that was just on a revenge tour to just massacre and torture these kids. And come on, guys, I am pretty damn easy to please when it comes to slasher movies. I mean, I just eat that shit up all the time, whether it's bad or whether it's good. But this movie was shockingly bad. This is a slasher movie. Come on. It is a subgenre in horror that, I mean, we basically have the blueprint to make a at least decent one right there on a silver platter. Come on, guys. This is a slasher movie. It's not exactly like we're asking you to recreate the statue of David with a toothpick or something. So yeah, guys, I have the newest movie in the franchise, last in the franchise, honestly. For me, it has the least amount of rewatchability in this franchise for me. And also, probably the biggest reason is I feel like this movie just pisses all over this franchise. And to me, as I think about it, I might not even consider this newest movie actually canon in the franchise. There's a part of me that really does wish that this newest movie wasn't officially licensed by whoever owns the rights to this franchise. I just really think it was just so bad. All right, and yes, of course, up next at number 3 is going to be the cinematic masterpiece we like to call I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer from 2006. And yes, like I said, this movie is bad, but I feel like it's hilariously bad. The new movie, though, I feel like I can't even really laugh about it. I mean, come on, in this movie, the big disaster, the big thing setting up, I know what you did last summer, all of that, is a guy at a carnival who pretends to be the fisherman, and then another guy who decides to go up on top of a parking garage next to the carnival, take his skateboard up there, 50-50 grind away from the fisherman and his friends, forget to put the pad down or check that there's not this like tractor sitting at the spot where he's supposed to land, and this poor bastard falls to his death. Obviously a completely dumb setup for the rest of this movie, but I feel like it's hilarious. There's also I mean, it's like one of the main characters in this movie is like this edgy, like early 2000s rocker girl who's trying to make it and break out and all of that, you know, while the murders are going down. You know, there's people getting attacked on like a ski resort gondola, things like that. It's just funny as hell. And yes, of course, this is a whodunit slasher movie. So the killer revealed at the end of this movie ends up being a shape-shifting, undead, demonic version of Ben Willis. You know what I also appreciate about the 2006 movie is they actually made an effort to make the gore practical. Us slasher fans, man, we appreciate that. Yes, the bar for this movie is very low. Yes, like I said, this movie is bad. But the kills, at least, are kind of brutal at times. We get some of the most blood in this entire franchise. There's that guy who gets his throat slit in a pretty surprisingly bloody manner for this franchise, which is never known for its blood, guts, and gore. Anything like that. You get the cop thrown onto the forklift there by Don Shanks, the legend Don Shanks, who also portrayed Michael Myers, portrays Ben Willis in this movie as well. You get the actor from Final Destination 2. Remember that guy that won the lottery, that whole thing, gets the ladder into his eye. Well, that guy gets like brutally hooked through the mouth and all of that, thrown into a trash can. He's all bloody. It's kind of fun. I will say too, in this 2006 movie, in that opening sequence at the carnival, I feel like there's more 4th of July vibes in that opening scene than there are in the entire newest movie in this franchise. One thing too about this movie, if you go back and rewatch it, you'll probably notice what I'm talking about, but it definitely has that Saw type of a feel to it, that aesthetic. It's kind of grayish and dark and dreary with the color grading and all of that, but they also do a lot of those like quick, flashy, fast-forwardy type shot sequences that they, of course, did in Saw, which came out a couple years before this movie, obviously was very influential, clearly, on the style of this movie. Also, the Final Destination movies, the early ones too, you can kind of see that in this movie as well, which is just like an aesthetic and a look that is not only nostalgic for me, but I also enjoy it. And I mean, come on, instead of letters in this movie, they're getting the messages on flip phones. Gotta love that. But my personal favorite is when the killer decides to write on the sidewalk next to the pool in evaporating water that perfectly evaporates right as the lifeguard is looking down at the message. That is probably my personal favorite, maybe in this entire franchise, because it is so ridiculous. One thing too about this movie is, especially in that opening sequence, it actually feels like a crossroads for the characters, which is very important in this type of a story, which I feel like they don't do a good job of that at all in the newest movie. The original movie, it was very much a crossroads. The characters were going off to their dreams and aspirations. And in this movie too, it's like that. Some of them are going off into the military. They're going off to school. They're still going to try to date, do the long distance thing. You just feel like it's this one last hurrah. And then this horrific accident happens, which throws all of it just to shit. And also in this one, there's something to be said about this movie goes pretty dark at times and really digs into the trauma of something tragically happening to this group of friends early on in the movie. Like suicide is a topic in this movie as well, which couldn't be any more different from the newest movie in this franchise, where they just give us lines of like, hey, do you remember that meme of, would you still do your skincare routine if somebody close to you died? And it's like, yeah, I can confirm that I would. It's like, God, this is, what are we doing here, guys? But really though, I'll always know what you did last summer. It's just 1000% one of those movies that you'd swing by Blockbuster, you see it on the shelf, and you just say to yourself, holy shit, that movie is gonna be so bad that I think I'm gonna laugh my ass off. And then you go back home with a few buddies, you have a few beers, and you're like, wow, this is bad. And I am having a great time. And yeah, I actually like the setting for the 2006 movie more than the setting for the newest movie in the franchise, which is supposed to be Southport, but it's actually filmed in Australia and it's like really squeaky clean and modern now. And I get why that made sense for that story, but it just completely lost the charm of Southport for me. So yeah, I like this kind of mountain town ski resort type of a setting in the 2006 movie. And again, like I said, the gap between movies 4 and 3 compared to movies 1 and 2 in this franchise for me, I mean, this gap puts the Grand Canyon to shame. The gap is so big between these movies. But coming up next, at number 2 is a movie that I really do love and I still have so much fun with all these years later. An all-time great slasher movie, which is going to be I Still Know What You Did Last Summer from 1998. And yeah, for me, this movie is just an absolute blast. And kind of like the original Halloween 2, which came out pretty shortly after the original Halloween, which I feel like did benefit that movie. For me, just as far as like the aesthetic and some of the continuity and just the vibe of that movie, coming from a similar era, I feel like with this movie, if you're a big fan of the original, I kind of find it hard to imagine why you wouldn't at least be a bit of a fan of this movie as well. I mean, you get Ray and Julie back again in this movie. They're a similar age. It's not like there's a massive gap in who they are and how they kind of act in the movie and things like that. You know, it's still very early on in their careers. And the movie still got, kind of that same aesthetic to it from the late 90s. And what's also great about this movie is it does enough in this movie that feels fresh, but it also feels similar to that original movie. Like you still have the coastal kind of vibe. They still incorporate boats along the way and all of that. But instead of like this small fishing town on the East Coast, this one, is a coastal place as well, but this one's more exotic. It's more tropical because it takes place on an island in the Bahamas. But I also just love the setting for this movie. It's kind of like Dead by Daylight, hide and go seek on a remote island. They basically have this entire resort at their disposal to go in any room that they want. They can use anything they need to. It's kind of like The Shining in a little bit of that kind of a way. And there's just absolutely no possible help anywhere nearby until this storm passes. Just like the isolation of it, the weather, all of it, it just works for me. And I did just mention Halloween 2 just a second ago, and just to piggyback off of that, Halloween 2 very much is like the original 1978 movie, but with a little bit of a Friday the 13th vibe. It's a little more gory. It's just got a little bit more of that sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And this movie is similar to that in a little bit of a way, because the original movie in this franchise, not the bloodiest movie at all. And this movie isn't either, but they do crank up the gore a little bit in this movie. We also get characters like Jack Black's character. He's like the resort weed guy who like mows the lawns and takes care of the gardens and stuff like that. A great character in this franchise, but he adds that like partying and drugs aspect. Very Friday the 13th. His kill is also great. He's also funny as hell in this movie, but just things like that. Add a little something extra that's like a little bit new and a little bit fresh for this franchise. Also, I've mentioned this before, but Ray is way better in this movie. He's way less of like that kind of silly, goofy, pretty boy. As soon as he gets chased by the fisherman and then he gets knocked out as he's rolling down that hill, his character is on an absolute mission and gives no shits about what he needs to do to get to this island. And I like how his story and what he's doing is always kind of lurking in the background. We kind of cut to it here and there throughout the story, which kind of takes us away from the island, gives us something a little bit different in this movie, which I think is a lot of fun, but it's kind of like a little surprise. You don't know when Ray is going to show up, and then eventually he does, of course, at a very important moment. And yeah, like the original movie, I think the ending to this movie is really a lot of fun. I love the setting for it at the graveyard with the rain and the mud and all of that, the tension and how it all goes down. Really, really do enjoy it. Now, this movie, it doesn't really have the great whodunit aspect like that original movie does, how they're kind of trying to figure out the mystery and all of that. You follow Julie as she's trying to piece together the clues. This movie doesn't really have that, or that really just creative thriller kind of story to it like the original does. But the second movie still is just one of those perfect like late 90s date night type slasher, thriller type horror movies. Great music, great tension, really fun characters, which there's no better way to put it, no better word to me than this movie is just really damn fun. All right, and of course, coming in at number 1 is going to be the OG, I Know What You Did Last Summer from 1997, which to me, this movie, just to kind of encapsulate it, I mean, best cast in the franchise, best mystery in the franchise, best story, best killer reveal, best ending in the franchise. And I did already mention this a little bit earlier on in this video, but very much in this movie, you just feel this crossroads for the characters in this movie, which is so important for the disaster when that happens, because then you really feel from these characters like how quickly things in life and all your dreams and aspirations, especially when you're young, we have a lot of them, can quickly just evaporate in a second. I know when I was a teenager, I was doing a lot of dumb shit. And if one little thing went wrong, my whole life probably could have changed for a while. And I feel like how the actors pull that off, especially in the disaster sequence, setting up the rest of this movie, I feel like it's just damn effective. And for me, this movie has the 2 best kill scenes in this entire franchise. Now, I do have a tier list ranking of all of the deaths in this entire franchise, every single one, if you want to check that out on my channel. But the 2 best kill scenes in this franchise, in my opinion, are in this movie. I mean, 3, really, if you want to include the whole scene with Barry outside of the gym and all of that, even though he doesn't die. That's a damn good scene, just with the tension and how it's all set and the set design and the car and the stunt work. Holy shit, the stunt work, it's great. But Max's scene, a death scene that I do really enjoy in this movie. And yeah, I mean, he's a big red herring. They could have maybe drawn that out a little bit more in this movie, but great tension in that scene though. I love that the first time we see the hook and then it's gone off of the ice, you're like, oh damn, something is obviously coming. But even more importantly, up until this point in the franchise, of course, and in this movie in particular, we don't really know what's going to happen to these characters. Who is coming for them? Is this person, what's their intentions? Are they planning on just getting them arrested? Are they planning on just pranking them? What are they really trying to do here? And this moment is the first time you really are introduced to what is going to happen here. And holy shit, you realize right away, okay, whoever this person is and this slicker that we see in this silhouette, they aren't messing around. They are going to brutally massacre these characters, which then adds more tension to the very next scene, which is Barry's scene outside of the gym, because it makes you think, okay, Barry's going to get it too. But yeah, of course, also Helen's death scene. By no means one of the bloodiest death scenes in horror history at all. Her actual death, not gory really at all, but one of the greatest slasher chase sequences probably ever. The set design, the different places they go from the alley to running to Shivers, trying to get into the door. Her sister gets massacred. Elsa gets carried on the hook. You're like, damn, that is a crazy shot right there as he's carrying her. And then just the whole thing with the elevator, she jumps out the window and then she's inches from surviving. One of those classic moments in slasher history where the audience, you can clearly feel like everybody's just yelling at the screen, what are you doing? Why are you turning around? Keep going. And yeah, she eventually does get it. And now after watching the newest movie in this franchise, clearly they were trying to remake Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, Helen, in the newest movie with the blonde girl. But it just makes me appreciate the way Sarah Michelle Gellar portrayed Helen in this movie so much more because she nails the character. Of course, Sarah, I wish we could have had you more in the horror genre in the Scream franchise and this franchise, but what we got, I'm grateful for. But damn, man, the way her character is in this movie, she plays just like such a feisty person who's kind of bitchy, but also likable, but also just great. She's one of the greatest slasher characters, honestly, ever. And it's just, again, such a dumb idea to basically try to remake her character in a new movie. You're not going to be able to fill her shoes. It's not going to happen. You're doing a disservice to your acting cast by doing shit like that. Stop doing it. Come up with a new character with new ideas. do better. I mean, they do the same thing with Barry Cox's character in the newest movie as well. I mean, Ryan Phillippe nails that character to a T, the asshole, jock, just spoiled prick. And yes, Tyriq doesn't do a bad job in the newest movie, but it's like, man, you're not gonna fill the character that Ryan Phillippe did. Like, don't even try. That's just a stupid idea. But yeah, in the OG movie, I feel like there's also so many great curveballs along the way. I mean, that whole scene with David Egan at the very beginning of the movie, you're like, oh, of course they hit him on the road, right? He's the only character that we saw. You see the little locket there as well, all of that. The Billy Blue moment, which I know takes some shit at the end of the movie, you know, with Freddie Prinze Jr. and all of that. But I mean, I watched this movie with some people, my mom and my wife, who had never seen it before, and they were like, oh shit, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. He's the killer. It's him. We knew it. It's kind of a good red herring. Max is a good red herring as well, and not to shit on the newest movie too much, even though it's easy to do. The newest movie, I feel like, had virtually no great red herrings at all. I mean, they kind of had one, but they were introduced way too late in the movie. And I mean, come on, the ending to the original I Know What You Did Last Summer on the boat, like what a great setting to end a slasher movie, on this gristled boat that has obviously been through some shit. She's finding the bodies down in the ice where they normally put the fish, which is just amazing. This scene apparently and all this stuff at the end of the movie was an absolute pain in the ass to film, with the changing tides and the weather and all of that. And somehow, I mean, hats off to the crew. They were able to pull it all off. And of course, the great line, when you leave a man for dead, make sure he's really dead. I mean, come on, Muse Watson, a great villain in the genre. And unlike the newest movie, I feel like this movie, just enough ambiguity for a sequel. It's not completely just blatant and in your face. It's just ambiguous enough to make it fun. And I just feel like with the original, it has that young, upbeat stuff that the original Scream definitely has, but this movie sets itself apart from Scream. It doesn't try to be like over the top, silly at times. The original I Know What You Did Last Summer is way more of a straightforward, early 80s type of a thriller slasher movie, which I just think is amazing to me. And this movie ages so well after all these years. What has it been, like 28 years? Just crazy. And it's still just a hell of a lot of fun. And I feel like also the original, just the right cast at the right time, the right story, the right genre, just at a perfect time in the late 90s. Just really a perfect storm, and easily one of my favorite slasher movies ever made, even after all these years. And like I said, the sequel, also a damn good time. But again, everybody, let me know down in the comments down below how you rank this franchise. What are your thoughts on this franchise? What are your thoughts on the newest movie in the franchise if you've seen it? But anyways, that is my ranking of all the movies in the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. Thanks so much for watching. If you want some more videos from me right now, go ahead and check out some of the videos next to me. I have a ton of I Know What You Did Last Summer content on the channel, so check that out. A lot of stuff with the newest movie as well. Like I said, some rants and some other fun stuff like that. But anyways, guys, yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos on the channel. All of my social media links also will be linked down below as well. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. If you want some behind the scenes pictures, some personal stuff, some updates about the channel, just stuff that you won't see here on YouTube, you can see on my other social media. So make sure you follow me over there. But again, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like on the video as well. Really does help me out a lot. Really do appreciate it. But my name is Matt, and I will talk to you in the next one.